A very good afternoon, Team Zimbabwe. Masquera say, Masquera say, Masquera say. A recent development, President Emerson Mnangagwa was invited to the US Africa Summit, which he snubbed and was later slapped with more sanctions. His team, 4 people were added to the sanctions list. So, Emerson Mnangagwa Jr. Got added to the sanction list. So, President Hakainde Hichilema, somebody who was believed to be President Emerson Mnangagwa's ally, to now being considering President Emerson Mnangagwa's plight or plea, supported the United States of America position on the people who were added on the sanctions list. And let us take a look onto this story as it unfolds. So, this report, the State Department spokes said that U.S. Treasury delisted 17 Zimbabweans and designated 4 individuals and 2 entities. We call on the Zimbabwean government to take steps to address the root cause of its ills, including the country's corrupt elite abusing institutions for personal gain. This is what the State Department spokes said. And President Hakainde Hichilema went on to say, we appreciate the United States' continued re-evaluation of sanctions against individuals in Zimbabwe. Thank you, Potters, for your attention to this and for making listening to SADC nations a priority. #Zambia. So what does this message mean? Because this is an issue of 17 Zimbabweans removed from sanctions and 4 individuals and 2 entities added to sanctions. And the president of Zambia says, thank you for attention and this, for making listening to SADC nations a priority. What is the call for SADC? SADC has been saying, remove the sanctions on Zimbabwe. 17 people removed, 4 added, and 2 entities added onto the sanctions list, which means sanctions are still continuing. It shows that SADC itself does have an exception on the issue of sanctions. SADC does not entirely agree with the ZANU PF in terms of how these sanctions should be removed. They are not in agreement. They agree to a certain extent, which shows that the government of Zimbabwe should do something. The government of Zimbabwe should actually work on making sure that these sanctions are removed. It is the responsibility of the government of Zimbabwe to make sure that these sanctions are removed. They must make sure that they implement reforms. They must make sure that they end abuses. They end state capture. They end the abuse of state institutions. That is what is very important. This is what Hakainde Hichilema and his colleagues have been saying. So you would see that no matter how much you see other people, Vanasiru Ramaphosa, running around speaking about these sanctions, if Zimbabwe does not do the needful, these sanctions will not be removed. However, we need to understand that the effects of these sanctions, they affect everybody and anybody. Why? Because these people designated are the same people who controls my institutions within our government. These are the same people who are corrupt. These are the same people who are looting. So it takes the government of Zimbabwe, number one, to work on these sanctions to make sure that they are removed. Secondly, it works on the people of Zimbabwe to make sure that they remove these people from power because they are corrupt, they are looting, they don't care, they are heartless. We wanted to see these leaders caring about the people of Zimbabwe, but they don't. Look at the hospitals we have. They try to use PR people to post pictures and everything from the private wards which are situated at our hospitals, but it will not work. If you go to Parenyatwa today, there is a private ward where the rich and the elite are admitted when they get sick. But kune kumbombera, same as my hospitals SRT now, there is kune private wards and also Mbombera wards. Why? It's because those with money, they will go to the private wards. Those without, they will go to the Mbombera wards. They don't want to fix the health system. They don't want to fix the currency system, the corruption, the looting. They don't want the economy, the banking system. They don't want. But they want sanctions to go. They don't want to leave state capture. CCC is a banned entity right now. But it seems as if everything is okay. So we want sanctions to go. We want sanctions to be removed, but we want the government of Zimbabwe to take the necessary steps to make sure that these sanctions are removed. That is our plea. So this is a clear indication that Zambia, the position of Zambia, it speaks a lot. It takes courage for a leader to speak like this. It shows that SADC is not going to help us in terms of these sanctions to be removed. It shows that AU is not going to help us in terms of having these sanctions removed. It's the people of Zimbabwe, it's the government of Zimbabwe, which means there must be an understanding in between the two parties, the government of Zimbabwe and its people. We must sit down together, have a conversation on how these sanctions can be removed. We must not peddle lies and falsehoods on people like Advocate Nelson Chamisa saying these are the problem. Let us face the real truth. Ndezvipi zviri kuita kuti masanctions aiswe? We sit down together as a team, address those issues, run free and fair elections, have a transparent and corrupt-free environment and economy, and see if those sanctions will not be removed. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. President Hakainde Hichilema supported the stance taken by the US on the issue of sanctions against Zimbabwe and said that is the SADC position. I don't know, guys, how you view it, how you see it, but I have put the tweet right here on the screen so that you can read for yourself. Maybe ndarasika grammar or ndarasika tone yashandiswa, but this is my understanding. This is it. Thank you very much for coming. Simba Mkandatsama. And they should keep it up and up, it's said. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. I love you all. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Ronald Kwamakusha. Let us meet in other episodes and other broadcasts live here on Africa and beyond. So I'm going to bring issue Honorable Job Sikhala because I now have a full report on Honorable Job Sikhala. So I'm going to bring it so that we talk about it right now. Tichingo Bapana, by a few minutes from now, watch out for Honorable Job Sikhala's matter.